Guys, welcome back to another WOR race. This is Qatar round 5. I missed Spa in Brazil because I was traveling. I was in Bali and I actually just came home today. So I haven't had that much opportunity to practice. Um, I hope it goes well, but I'm not sure. Anyways, we'll be trying to have a more consistent race in Austria, primarily to avoid any first lap incidents and first lap chaos, and just try not to get tangled up in others' business. Try to have my own race. To the end of my out lap, my tires were only on 30 degrees, which is a bit too cold for the optimal grip. So I decided to pit to lower my tire pressure, which increases the temperature. I had just made the wet setup during this session, so there's only 5 minutes left, but I still decided that my best shot was to lower the pressures and then go all out for one lap.
Okay, Mega Mate, we've made some changes to the way that ERS works this year, so you're going to have multiple modes to choose from in the race now. Have a play around with them in your MFD during the practice sessions and think about how you might use them on race day. I'll check back with you soon to chat more about it.
Starting my hot lap. This is my only chance because I don't think I'll have enough time to make it back. I have a big oversteer, big moment into the last turn of the previous lap, but I managed to save it, activate overtake, and blast ERS down the straight. On 50, shift down 4 gears. It's a nice apex. Didn't carry maximum amount of speed, and for some reason there, I just opened up the steering when I didn't need to. I was perfectly within the track limits, and I just opened the steering because I wasn't comfortable in the wet conditions. As I said, I hadn't practiced anything, and usually I'm not that good in the wet conditions either. As you see here, I've run wide several times already, so it probably wouldn't have helped if I didn't invalidate there. And right now I'm just trying to make it back to the finish line before the time runs out. At this point I realize it's probably over. I'm not gonna make it to the start finish line in 6 seconds, which is really unfortunate because I feel like if I had another shot I could have done some more stuff. At this point I don't know, I was flooring it to try to get to the finish line, but I didn't manage to. So I'm not gonna have a time in qualifying, and I'm gonna start all the way back in P17. Anyways, let's leave that behind us. I really like this track, I really like Qatar. I've had one of my first ever races here in WRL. Just choosing my correct setup out of 50 different setups. I don't know, I found a lot of different setups online, and I just picked a random one. So as usual, 0.6 more laps of fuel than needed. And here I was thinking about going for a 2-stopper, but I think I'm staying with a 1-stopper because it's probably faster, and I think everyone else is gonna do the 1-stopper. Let's see what we can pick up on the race start now. Alright, we got promoted to 1 place. I don't know, someone left. And solid reaction time. Could have done better. Much better than the ones ahead. Oh my god, and it's rampage on the race start. I go to the outside, try to overtake, and the people there are slow. So I have to take avoiding action, and I lose back the couple of positions I gained. I'm in P13, so I gained 3 positions, and it's total chaos. I go on the inside here. I didn't realize we were 3 wide, but I still stay on the deep inside because I was pushed there. And oh, someone taps me. It's the first lap shit I was talking about yet again. Someone tapped me, I span to the right, then I tried to correct it to the left, and for some reason I went full throttle. I don't know, I got distracted from the
Yellow
tap.
flag.
It was very weird actually, because I usually don't ever go full throttle like that, especially after spinning out. I don't really remember what happened right there, but I did go full throttle, and I lost traction again and span into Paul Richard, which was oncoming traffic. We talked about it after the race. I kind of ruined his race as well. He didn't ruin mine, but that collision ruined both of our races. One of us had a front wing at this point, and we're already last by the end of lap 1. So we talked about it afterwards. He understood it was a mistake. I got spun around first, and I apologized to him about it. But anyways, we both know that we have to repair the front wing, because it's impossible to drive Qatar without a front wing. He brakes very early, so I push him into the pit. I was scared I accidentally gave him a penalty, but he didn't get a penalty. So we're gonna pit for a new front wing now, and still I haven't figured out which button is my turn-in button, so I get a late turn-in again. It doesn't matter that much, it's like 0.8 seconds you lose, which is a lot in F1, but not in WOR Tier 8. So now I have new mediums,
Okay,
a new
stay
front
clear of the
wing,
white line on the exit.
and
You'll see the penalty for
I'm
dangerous
gonna
driving
try
if you cross
to
onto the
keep
track.
up and see if maybe there's a safety car or anything. Already I'm feeling the
DRS
lack
now
of grip.
enabled. DRS enabled.
Very cold tires on a track like Qatar, where you need your tires to be hot and grippy. Just following Paul Ricard at the moment, and catching up by a lot during the next few laps. For me, the problem is not being fast at the track, that's why I need to practice. For me, the problem is track limits. There's stuff like that, so stupid. If you go back, you see, I just turned in a millisecond too early, just cut the whole inside thing. I didn't gain anything, in fact I had to correct. So really useless, and I have a penalty now. But anyways, on this lap I got into the DRS of Paul Richard. It was burning a bit in the beginning, but don't even have to burn now. Fly straight past, because DRS on Qatar is so OP. Hit a nice turn 1. Here I go a little bit wide though. Here later on the same lap, Paul Richard is almost a second behind me, and this is a very weird incident. I hit the apex pretty nicely and just snap of oversteer, lose it from nowhere. I've reviewed the footage several times, and yes, maybe a slight percentage too much on the acceleration, yes, maybe a slight percentage too much on the steering angle, but that's crazy. That shouldn't happen. That was a very weird incident, and I've had my fair share of spins, so I don't think that was one of the more conventional ones. Let's go for mistake number 3. I just spin out here. This one absolutely on me. Obviously most of them are, but I know the reason for that one was I turned on overtake too early. Turning on overtake gives you more horsepower, and when you turn it on in a traction zone, you lose traction. You can get wheel spin if you're producing too much horsepower for your speed. And this was something I learned during this race, so I'll make sure not to repeat it. Here you see me getting so many more track limits for no reason. Zero gain. And this is simply from not enough practice. I'm trying to push the limits when I don't know the limits. And once more, another mistake. The same as last one. Overtake deployed too early. And I didn't really know about ERS mechanics in this race. But now I watched Brendan Lee's video, and I've practiced a bit in the meanwhile, and I feel the car much better now. So this wasn't one of my best races at all. I feel maybe a slight bit better than Austria in terms of consistency, and that's just because Austria was so damn inconsistent, but slower than Austria in terms of pace, because I practiced a lot for Austria. I wasn't getting any track limits penalties, and I had a lot of pace. Here it's the opposite, but it's more consistent, a couple less mistakes than in Austria. And when the mistakes start coming in, they pile up. Here we go, down the Qatar straight. I went a bit wide on the last corner. Mason was ahead of me, he pitted, and now he's behind me, and he flies by with new tires on the Qatar straight. I was burning like crazy, and he just takes the position. Anyways, my tires are suffering, and unfortunately, that's usually when I bottle it. At the end of stints or my tire temps are hot, I go very wide there because I turn in too early, and there I just too
Your
much
front wing's
steering angle,
damaged. Expect
too
a
much
lot of
throttle.
understeer unless we replace
Just a
it.
classic moment of oversteer, send it into the wall, and you know, so I pit on that lap. I brake perfectly into the pit lane. That was very satisfying actually. Um, but I'm already lapped by the race leaders, and I'm pitting again, so I'm gonna be lapped by a lot more people. And at this point, I'm just seeing if I have the motivation to keep going. Not even one lap later, I go wide again, get on the throttle too much with too much steering angle because I
Green
was
flag.
wide, and spin it. And then now, also a lap later, here I just turn in too much. I had a good amount of throttle and I turn in too much. And I spin a bit, I don't crash. But at this point, you know, I've been lapped by the race leaders and on a track where I had 15 seconds of time penalties, where I hadn't practiced. I honestly just couldn't be asked to race anymore. Obviously, I want the experience of racing into long stints, but I knew this wasn't the time and place, and saving myself for a better day. Let's have a better Abu Dhabi because I won't be able to race the next race either.